Savele bumbene insimbi yesithupha nalomhla ekuseni kungolesihlanu nebengosilenhle sethembe ukuthi nilele kahle futhi nivuka kahle sethembisa lohlelo lolitawuba mnanzi nalelita sifundisa tinfo letiningi lomhla ekuseni njengoba ke livela kangwane lisachubeka nekuthuthuka thina ngeke inhlangothi lesifuna ukudibuka lomhla ekuseni sikuphathele okuningi sawuqala sibuke nje ukuthi ngabe Eswatini TV siseva ngetimbobo temuhla ukuthi kungathi utawusuka lapha eHospital Hill ake athi kugobe madvolo kulenye indzawo engabe ngikuphi empeleni vele la khona Eswatini TV kunetinhlelo ke nanato letisithembisa tindzaba letimnanzi kuna inyanga lesikuyo inyanga ya February lesithi ke sisibanenge inyanga yeluthando engabe basiphatheleni kulolo hlelo lolo nomcebo Mpamali Malinga Senior Communications and Marketing Officer lapha ekhaya Eswatini TV utawusicathathela kabanti ngakuleto ke inhlangothi leto ukuthi Eswatini TV asasuka engabe uyapi vele uyasuka yini vele nje sicalela kuthenini uyasuka yini na utasichazela kabanti nomcebo Malinga lomhla elihlelo ngasiko lokho kuphela iDStv nanayo ithite kule nyanga ya February angeke ikushiye emuva sitaba naye Phumelele Lukhele lobukete kumarket khona ka DStv letasichazela kabanti ukuthi kule nyanga ya February ngabe yini labakuphathele yona ukuthi ke kude ukhona ukuthola lokho labakuphathele kona yini lokufuna ube nayo utasichazela kabanti ihlelo lusachubeka lomhla lusuku lolumatima lusuku lolukhulu kakhulu njengoba sigathile ukuthi kuphume imiphumela impela nisevele iphumile imiphumela yaka form 5 kunengelo kubese kuyenteka nakuphuma imiphumela njengoba nje labanye bajabula kakhulu nje bantu babo baphase ngemalengiso nabo labo bantwana labaphase ngemalengiso bajabule kakhulu on the other side bakhona labo labangakhoni ukuthi baphumelele noma ke labangenti njengoba bebafise kwenta ngakhona sebathatha khanza baphoceleleke ukuthi bangene etikolweni le labangagazi ukuthi batawuya kudo sifuna kuva ukuthi ngabe leyo ngqondo yalo mfana loyo njengoba vele sigathile ukuthi ngenteka ethika beteke indzaba yokufuka nalokwa sita ufuna ukuxoxisana ne psychiatrist mental health specialist leqhamuka lapha etiko letempilo Sindiso Bhembe letawusichazela kabantu ukuthi ngabe vele how do you cope with the stress, how do you deal with the expectations and the pressures of ukuphuma kwema results sitawufuna ke ukubuka lokho from a micro level nasithi micro level sifuna ukubuka la khona kunetihlobo nebangani labo labathola lawo ma results ukuthi ngabe siba incorporate kanjani sibaphatha kanjani basa dealer neti-stress letikhona tale miphumela as well as on a more intimate level kubo bona ke labo ke labatholela lawo ma results bona badila kanjani nalawo ma stresses lawo Sindiso Bhembe utasichazela kabanti kulohlango sakusiko lokho kuphela ngelesihlanu ke siba nato temidlalo sitawufuna ukubuka ukuthi njoba kutaba ne draw ye ingwenyama cup engabe itawuthini leyo draw leyo amaqembu latawubhekana kutaba ngumaphi namaphi sevele entekile ke leyo draw esukwini la itolo Nzambama sifuna ukubuka lawo maqembu lawo nemidlalo letawuba khona kule mphela sonto lensatheli lapha ekhaya kutemidlalo ngale kwaloko sijabula kakhulu ukuthi nivuka nathi nalomhla ekuseni kungolesihlanu isikhombisa inyanga ya February umnyaka 2025 inyanga yesibili le ngosasibahlole market test abuya sichubeka nehlelo.
Welcome to the ultimate guide to your weekend entertainment. Get ready to groove with us as we bring you the hottest music videos and exclusive interviews with your favorite celebrities. Experience fresh music videos from new releases, underground sensations, and emerging talent. Whether you're hip-hop, amapiano, or Afro, we've got something for everyone.
At
But if you've missed out on any of the excitement, don't worry, we've got you covered. Join us for an electrifying journey through the music scene. Relive the magic and get inspired for your next weekend adventure.
You got me stuck on you. Agusafumi, agufumi mthule. Busy ngiyatibuta, busy ngiyatipenya, bonke kwami kuyakhalela.
So tune into This Week at Eswatini for a weekly dose of music, entertainment, and unforgettable experience. Get ready to groove because the weekend starts here.
You got me stuck on you.
Come on, it's a simple song. Sing with me. Say,
you got me stuck on you.
Sibonga ukuthi sonhle linathi neve nkosi lenhle yasitfokotele nathi tindzaba tesiswati. Liphini landvunankulu imphunga Kusile dladla lithi ngekubambisana nelitiko letekwatisa bakhaluhla lwabo bonke bantfu labanzinzile eveni i-National Social Security Registry kuteke kutawuba melula kwati kutsi bantfu labahluphekile banganani noke kutsi bakuphi nelive. Liphini landvunankulu likuvete loku ngesikhatsi lemukele lishekele mali lengetulu kwetigidzi letisihlanu emalangeni 5.6 million emalangeni khulumende welive le-China on Taiwan. Le mali yetfulwe ngilonxusele live le-Taiwan kuleli Jeremy Liang.
Uhulumende usinikile 56 million wale disaster leyendekile. Sithiteke leyo setawuvusa ke letindlu letiwile wayesilembili kugijima nayi yakhalo 50 kuleti letine potential ngoba letinye vele setiwile kepha tikabagcobi sigijime nato ke sesti identifyile but le social registry icabinet ibusisile lapho sanda khona sivumelwano na ICT ukuthi ICT asidevelopele le system letawukhona ukuthi bese ku assesswa live lonke na economic planning lihhovisi laka CSO laka statistics lisekhathi home affairs usekhathi cishe onke lamatiko to map the whole country ukuthi sathi ukuthi indlu le kanje utayithola kuphi uhlala bani unabani uyasebenza unjanjani sesisuka lapha nje setho 5-6 million sishonale nyalo kusese fragmented. We are depending on NDMA, dependent on social welfare, siphindze futhi na EEC uyasisita kulama red boards uma hamba faka lama red boards abuye athi hawo lengutfula la ngaphandle nabo MP inkundla council so nyalo sisarela kubo but the social registry that we are developing ngiyo leta sinika info le concise sihambe ne program le clear kuthi nyalo sisukela na inkundla nayo sakha so many lenkundla le inebantu aba disabled labangaka laba vulnerable lenkundla le ina childhood households langaka laba vulnerable ngalabanye banema ebantwana noma ngabe the head in the households boy ise babo bashiya timali ukuthi ba survive sebadojwa ngithi nje bo auntie nabo zimpenqempenqa but konke lokho sitabanako nokuthi ema OVC lekufanele abhadalelwe lawa la genuine the social registry will respond to all those concerns.
Umkhankaso wekubuyela esikolweni i-2025 Back to School campaign lowaphakamiswa lihhovisi leliphini landvunankulu uyachubeka nekutfola kwesekeleka etinkampani ntakuleli njengoba ke tinkampani letahlukene tiyachubeka nekufaka sandla kulomsebenzi. Sitolo se-OK Foods sinikele ngeuniform letawuniketwa abantwana besikolo lesincane eMboni kanti ke inkampani eFincorp inikele ngetinfo tekutihlobisa lokufaka ekhatsi tinsipho nemafutha ekugcobisa.
Asibonge kakhulu Nkosi yami okay asendlule okay size siyobonga ngisho nemaswati lathenga la okay because emaswati beamhambela kancane lo okay wemaswati ngaba bekho la because bebadayakha kuphi imali so nje sicela kubonga emaswatini ukuthi asitilekelele letitolo temaswati because njalo kusibona usukume etitolo temaswati talalela lokukhala lapho isithi inkosi asibambaneni sisitane kude lotali indali ivele bengcono ngaphandle kwethu kude lotawuva lomhelo walomfana lohlupheka kweliswati ngaphandle kwethu lokhu kusho a lot to us ukuthi kule interest lenitfolile kulomsebenzi wemaswati nithite lencane kunokuthi nathi ngapha ukuthi khulisele imiholo asewuthi silalele lokhulunywe ngwenyama ukuthi singemaswati asibambisane and make this country a better place for all lonke eliswati taking care of the vulnerable and so on and so forth. We have taken care of the aspect in unemployment ngekuthi nithi emaswati be self-sustainable, employ yourself. Enalama terms enu ekubhadala back they're friendly. Nale involvement yenu in monitoring is friendly. So nitasibongela management. Niphize nisibongele kulamaswati. Lathi they want to tap into le facility yekusibaboleke imali batotikhulisa babe ngcono baqashe labanye bantu sizame kwehlisa unemployment.
Indvuna yelitiko letemabhizinisi umhlonishwa Manqoba Khumalo sayisukumisa ngalokusemthethweni umgomo wekusebenta nekusekeleka kwamabhizinisi lamancane nalasemkhatsini kuleli. Indvuna ithi lo mgomo lunetinsika letisikhombisa tifaka ekhatsi kusekeleka kwamabhizinisi ebantfu labakhubatekile uthi-ke kuhlose kakhulu ukutfutfukisa umnotfo welive ngelizinga lelisetulu. Lo msebenzi ubanjelwe ehhotela Hilton Garden Inn eMbabane.
The problem is social capital. When you give me the money and I say to you, I will give it to you back. In Eswatini, it can be optional whether I give it to you back or not, even for businesses. And what you find that government has a number of these schemes, the Youth Empowerment Revolving Fund. You've got many schemes in the MSME sector, many schemes in the agricultural sector, a number of institutions that give out finance for one reason or another at concessional rates because we are trying to distinguish, the financial offering for MSMEs from your commercial bank rates, right? But more often than not, those schemes fail because our social capital is weak. If I'm a man and I have made a supply possible for government and I get paid 2 million in Malangeni, but I'm supposed to pay back 800,000 to somebody. Before I do that, I will marry a second wife. And then I'll have a problem. So social capital, I always call you PS, sorry. But Sizagele is something that we need to teach our people. What I found is that in those jurisdictions where SMEs thrive and are successful, that culture is embedded from the time kids are small to say, if you owe somebody, you'd rather sell what you have and pay that back rather than, take chances and see how far you can get without honoring your obligations.
Litiko letemfundvo ngekubambisana netinini telive selinikelele tikolwa letiphakeme letine ngekwekuticeba kwemantfombatana uma semfuleni kanye nekwekugeza. Ikhuluma uma indlulisa letipho kuletikolwa indvuna yelitiko letemfundvo umhlonishwa owenqumalo. Ithi isidzingo saletintfo tekuticeba sikhulu kakhulu ngoba kukhona abafundzi lesebatikhanza bangasayi esikolweni uma basemfuleni.
Letinfo letibita ngetulu kwa 70,000 emalangeni tifaka ekhatsi insipho, kwekucubha nepolishi yeticatfulo, kubala kulokunye kantsi titawuzuza tikolwa letiphakeme lekungileso sasemjoli, Mayiwane, Hosiya kanye naMathetha Nazarene. Indvuna yelitiko letemfundvo umhlonishwa Owen Nxumalo ithi kukhetfwe isikolwa sinye sifundza ngesifundza ngenxa yesidingo sema-toiletries lesibonakala sandza kuleli.
Letikolweni sibonile ukuthi vele labantwana bemantombazane labangakhoni labete kahle lokugcebeka kahle lama-pets bese bayabahleka lokho kube sekuyayi-affecta le-education. Seva futhi ukuthi ukhanze ukuthi nase bafika kuleso sikhathi leso bese uyalova kasaya esikolweni usaba lokuthi batamhleka. Siyabonga nje kakhulu etihlobeni intengwenyama lokuthi tito sichasa ikakhulu ngalama pets bantwana bethu bemantombazane batawugcebeka nabo bafana nalabanye nabo baye esikolweni ngeconfidence ukuthi ke bakahle kakhulu. Singacela ke nabo somabhizinisi ukuthi nabo phela nesive baphose esivivaneni.
Sekabongela letikolwa letizuzile umphathi wesikole lesiphakeme sasemjoli Lindiwe Nkambule uthi lena ngulenye indlela letawunciphisa kuhlukubeteka kwebantfwana ngelicansi.
Bana siyabonga lokhu ngikona kusikhali sekubulala nako kuhlukumedeka kwebantfwana ngelicasi ngoba kusho ukuthi ngeke kuhlekwa kuphela lokutamendanga esikolweni tawungena nasemadlingweni nabala balandzela abantu bethu asindakuthengela ama-pads ndakuthengela ama-roll on umfana angene enkingeni angabasadi ukuthi utophuma kanjani.
Umcondzisi welihlangothi le-Career Guidance and Counselling khona etiko Lindiwe Dlamini uthi luhlelo loluchutshwa litiko lwe-Education Plus lolwasukunyiswa nga-2022 luhambisa embili inhlalakahle yemfana longumfana nalo yintombatane.
Sende sibese sesibuka ukuthi asi-audite phela sibuke ukuthi yini lusito lolukhona in terms of ukuthi bantwana bade nje ukuthi mhlambe nasengicedzile esikolweni nangifuna kufundzele emakhono ngingaya kuphi ngiphi isenta leseceleni kwesikolo sami noma leseceleni kwelikhaya lami.
Inhlangano yakamhlaba leyincinya leto letibambisa litiko kulomkhankaso i-UNAIDS income uhulumende ukuthi yaphumelele ekulinganiseni bulili gender parity yathi itawuchubeka nekumbambisa etinhlelweni takhe tekuthuthukisa abantfana labasafundza skola. Etindzabeni kubikano silesithole nginaThemba Shabangu Sembabane.
Indzabeni temidlalo inhlangano ledlalisa ibhola abomake kuleli i-Women Football seyivete ukuthi seticalile ke tinhlelo tekuzama kutfolela abadlali bakuleli emacembu angephandle. Ngekusho kwa Ntando yeNkosi Hlatshwako sekakhona emacembu langaphandle lahlola abadlali bakuleli labadlala ibhola abomake. Betingakondzaba lomhlekusente esiswati sicocisana nomcebo Malinga Senior Communications and Marketing Officer lapha ekhaya Eswatini TV masibuye emakethe.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back to the program. Very good morning once again. This is Kusile Breakfast Show, the Friday edition. You have been kind to stay with us on the program, but you haven't done that in vain, because you are about to listen to a very interesting conversation about something that I may preempt a few things right now, because we want to speak about change, which often signals growth. And in the world of broadcasting, movement isn't just about shifting spaces, it's about repositioning vision. But Eswatini TV is on the move right now. Is it temporal? Is it permanent? But, we want to speak to what that is going to inform you, as well as, how you operate, as well as how you communicate with Eswatini TV, because you are our stakeholder at the end of the day. So as it prepares to operate from a new location for the next couple of months, what does this mean for the station's rhythm, its identity, and perhaps even its future? Adding to the mix, our new show that I'm sure you have seen, Straight Up with Nogu Pila, a very interesting show, by the way, is gearing up for a Valentine's special that is promising more than just hearts and roses. Could these shifts be signaling something bigger, a new era maybe? We don't know. Senior Marketing and Communications Officer Nomcebo Mpamali Malinga is in studio with me this morning. She's going to shed light into the many questions that you and I have. Nomcebo, very good morning to you and welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's a very good morning to you, and thank you for having me in the studio today.
Nomcebo, look, we speak about changing locations. I'm a creature of habit myself. I'm so used to coming here every morning. So it's going to be quite the radical shift even for myself. But for the viewer, our stakeholders, we have guests that come here every morning for business and other things. Let's speak about where we are going really and what that signals.
A big change is coming, as we saw. It's a temporal change, but it's a change that I believe that we'll all get used to at some point. But, in a bit to try, and improve, our broadcasting services, as an organization, as Eswatini TV, the station comes very far. There's a station that is very nostalgic and very historic. We have this one studio up here at the Hospital Hill. That is how we are famously located and mentioned, in circles out there. So the broadcast studio will be relocating to EBIS premises, Emsagatwen, opposite the Coronation Park. So that is where we will be housed for a couple of months.
Okay.
You may ask yourself, why is Eswatini TV taking its studios to EBIS? For us, it's giving us an opportunity to actually work on the current studio that we have. As you know, Eswatini TV was officially opened in 1978, and gradually Eswatini TV has been growing, has been trying to improve its infrastructure, the technologies, and trying to play catch up. As you know, technology changes almost every day. So we need to have the right equipment and have the right premises to actually broadcast. So what will be happening in the next couple of months is that our very own beautiful studio will be going through a revamping or a rehabilitation process, where we're going to introduce high-end equipment. The facilities are going to be bigger, and we are also going to be able to actually broadcast, quality video and visionary content.
1978. I'm sorry, I was just doing my mathematics here on my notebook.
I
was never a really good math student, by the way, but
Same here,
thank
don't
God
worry.
we have other talents. Look, this is 46 years since we were, the inception here in these very same studios. But you speak of a revamping, you speak about bigger, you speak about quality when we return. But I know some of our viewers have the amalgamation question, because that has been through the grapevine, some news that have been going on there. Is this the beginning of it? What is this, the alignment with EBIS that we've been hinting all along?
Thank you for asking that question, because I know a lot of viewers are asking them that question. Is it finally happening? No, this is not part of the amalgamation process. This is just Eswatini TV taking on a very big responsibility and a process of rehabilitating its studios and revamping its broadcast studios so that we catch up with high-end broadcasting, which is what is happening, in the broadcasting fraternity worldwide. So we want to be that world-class TV station as well. So that is why it's very important for us to actually come back, sit down, get to the drawing board, and catch up, or if anything, lead when it comes, to broadcasting, in Africa and beyond.
what is the viewer really getting from this revamp? Because, like you've mentioned, there's a lot of rehabilitation and revamping that is going to happen in terms of our infrastructure look,
Right.
as well as, how that subsequently, informs the kind of picture quality that we submit to our loyal viewers at home. But, what does it really mean for Eswatini TV, this revamp 46 years later?
It means a lot. It's growth for us. So it's very important to be seen ukuthi we are growing, to be seen that we are hungry to actually be world-class, to be a world-class broadcaster. So that is what Eswatini TV is trying to strive to. So what does it mean to the viewer at home? It's improved picture quality, as you said. It's improved audio quality. We are a TV station that also produces content. So with the right equipment and the right facilities, we will be able to actually produce high-end, beautiful content that will actually resonate and appeal, to the public and to the viewers at home. So for us, it's just really making sure that we create an environment, even for the employees themselves inside, to be able to walk into a studio and feel like, yes, I have arrived. I am finally working, if you feel like you're walking into a BBC studio or CNN type of thing. So that is what we want to bring, to the public and to the viewers.
Charming news, Nomcebo. I'll tell you what. Right now, we are considered the benchmark, the bar in Eswatini when it comes to television broadcasting. So it's even more exciting to learn that we can even improve that bar and improve on the qualities that we provide right now. And I think it's exciting even for us as Kusile Breakfast Show, the other shows that we do, your market views, your business watches of this world, because there's going to be improvement there as well.
Yes.
But I want us to speak about, this show straight up. As we speak about shows, really.
Yeah.
There's going to be some Valentines. We're going to see some roses these days. Men will be digging into their pockets to please their women. But we hope women will reciprocate this time around. But
I think they do. Yeah. But maybe before I actually go into the Valentine's special, because I think I'd like to end this interview, with those heartwarming news. It's just to reassure the public that, with the current move that'll be happening, from the 8th of this month, we are going to make sure that daily transmission and as well as our program schedule will not be interrupted. It's going to be business as usual for Eswatini TV. So we'd like to just reassure the public, reassure our stakeholders and our clients that there will be absolutely no changes that they'll be experiencing in terms of us, offering them their services, and also just being there, as a broadcaster and making sure that all of their programs are produced on time and they are broadcast on time.
So there's going to be seamless broadcasting.
It's going to be seamless broadcasting. So we just want to reassure the public on that. And a quick one, for sales, because we know that we've got clients, that have an interest, in advertising on Eswatini TV, they can go ahead, and call this number. It's 7809 1118 for all our clients that want to do business with Eswatini TV. And since we are moving, I'm sure that they're doing their business EBIS. They can call the number 7809 1118. And for TV license information, they can also call 76 222 000. And for anything and everything that's KBS related, they can call a 7809 2174. And we also have our landline number, which they can freely call as well if they have any questions whatsoever or need any information. So it's 2411-9600. And we also like to urge the public to follow our social media pages. That is where we'll be dropping information on a daily. Any changes that will be happening, that is where they're going to get instant information that's going to be in our social media pages.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you've mentioned our social media pages, but quickly, 8 days before Valentine's Day, as we speak. In fact, it's 7 days today, I believe.
You're counting.
Yeah. I'm trying to do my math. I'm improving. I'm growing. Speak to me about this, this incorporation on Straight Up with Nokpila.
Yes, very exciting news for us. And it's many thanks to Real Josini Private Game Reserve, who were very kind enough to sponsor a 2-part episode of Straight Up with Nokpila. Straight Up with Nokpila is a new talk show that was actually unveiled in December as part of our Christmas schedule. It's doing very well to a point where it has attracted a whole sponsor. So what you're going to be seeing on that show, we've identified 2 couples that are going to be featured on the show. They'll be having a one-on-one with Nokpila. They'll be enjoying the beautiful place. Eswatini is a very beautiful place, I must say. They'll be enjoying the ambience of Eswatini. So this and more is what the viewer can expect during the Valentine's weekend. It's a 1-hour special of each episode, and we are very proud as Eswatini TV to be able to actually come up with such a show and produce such a show. And our colleagues are growing up. Nokpila, we all know Nokpila as a program presenter, but she's moved into production. She's a producer. She's actually producing this particular show.
Commendable.
Yes, so that's growth for her. So this is an exciting show that the public can look forward to.
I think that also
this coming
speaks to
Valentine's.
an enabling environment in Eswatini TV for career growth as well.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Eswatini TV is also on social media. Nomcebo was mentioning that you can find us on all our social media, Eswatini TV, X, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, we are everywhere. You can find us there, Eswatini TV. That was Nomcebo Malinga, our Senior Marketing and Communications Officer. Let's go for a quick ad break. We'll be back shortly. The show goes on.
Ingoma lekhuluma ngelive lakho ngobungwe bakho mina ke ngize ngakho ingoma etinkundla ngakhiswa ukuthi ngathatha inkulumo yenkhosi lethi tinkundla ngitona mgogodla welive nangifuna
famile ukuthi sisiteba ka micro project sitwe ngibo labe lituko lelithita baka seed micro bekunene nguhulumende letimali tahulumende wetinkundla
nathi-ke singuhulumende imbobo yemhlaba inako sive semaswati lokuhamba embili labasinike kona ngilo yokuthi kutawufuneka sifakele itubane noma sivinini lesingakavami lokusho ukuthi lo nkwe kutawufuna sabonakale kiso
sinoluhlelo nje kuthiwa sive sathuthuka lapha ku-TV lihana ngilabantwana sishengetisa imisebenzi yahulumende wetinkundla hulumende la ngaphandle uyasebenza.
Welcome back to the program. This is Kusile Breakfast Show, the Friday edition. Thank you for staying with us. Thank you so much. As we step into February, in fact, we are in February. It's not just the month of love, really. It's also the perfect time to discover new content, new offers, as well as new ways to be connected or to stay connected. For DStv subscribers, February promises more than just entertainment. It's a month that is packed with a fresh, season-long campaigns, as well as exciting content and offerings that are tailored to fit every viewer's taste and budget. But the question is, what exactly is in store? I'm sure you do want to know that. How do you make the most of the February campaign, and what should you be watching out for on your screens? Plus, with every evolving or this ever-evolving packages and pricing, where does the best value lie for you as a customer? Joining me to shed light on all of this is Phumelele Lukele. She is the marketing officer at DStv. She's going to walk us through what February looks like on the platform. Welcome to the program, Mhlandi. A very good morning to you.
Thank you for having me, and a very good morning to you too.
The month of love, everything seems to be tailored just for love, but I wonder, is it the same thing for DStv subscribers? Are they going to be spoiled with a lot of love content? Talk to me.
Yes, absolutely. But then also, that when it comes to love, a lot of people interpret love differently. So it's not always about the romantic stuff. Other people are just into different types of what they call romantic. But otherwise,
other people. Yes.
But otherwise, definitely at DStv we have a lot of content for everybody.
Let's start with this February campaign. What is the focus this time around, and what is it really that inspired it?
Okay, so with our February campaign, it's basically a stay connected campaign whereby we are just appreciating our customers that are loyal to the brand, that are subscribing and renewing. Because, you know, January is quite a hard month for everybody.
Yeah.
But with our customers, we are appreciating them for staying connected and subscribing to their packages. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be having some Valentine's Day, or rather February month of love hampers. So we're going to be preparing 6 hampers that are tailored around Valentine's, that are going to be given to 6 lucky customers that are currently subscribed to DStv. So it's just a way of showing appreciation, and it is the month of love after all.
Yeah, so in terms of, you know, qualification, how one qualifies for all this rich content that you are mentioning, is it only for, you know, your subscribers? How do I qualify if I'm not a subscriber anyway? You know, what are the specific requirements there for me?
Okay, so basically all you need to do is just register your DStv account with us, because remember, DStv is quite different. There's DStv Eswatini and then there's DStv South Africa. So most people are not aware that there's a difference. So you do have to register your DStv account locally. But this campaign is a stay connected campaign, so it doesn't really cover the new customers that are going to be registering now. So it's for the current existing customers. So all you need to do is just simply pay for your DStv subscription for the month of February going into March, and then it's just that easy, then you're qualified.
And perhaps if you're a smart viewer and you are not yet a stay connected viewer, you do want to take this as an urgent call to stay connected now, because I'm sure there's a lot more offers that are coming in as the year comes by. But also for the month of love again next year, you don't want to be left out like you may be this year. Let's talk about, you know, the value that this campaign brings to average DStv subscribers. You know, what we should really pay attention to.
Okay, so with the DStv Eswatini, we've got a lot of content, both local, international. We've got sports, we've got for kids content, we've got documentaries. So we cover the whole entertainment as it comes. So basically, if you are subscribed with DStv, you don't really have any excuse to even go out. And even if you are going out, we have new platforms now, such as your DStv Stream, that will allow you to watch all of your content even if you're not at home. So you really don't really have any excuse. As long as you're a person who loves entertainment, you'll be covered with DStv Eswatini.
I can see that viewer at home right now asking themselves, you know, what does the pricing look like? You know, let's speak to that.
Okay, so we have packages, different packages at DStv Eswatini. They start from as little of 155 emalangeni, that's the access package. Then we have the family package, which goes for 350 emalangeni. Then we have the compact package, which goes for 450. Then we have Compact Plus, which is 650, and the premium package, which is 970. Now, if you have a DStv Explorer decoder, now remember this is the one that where you can pause, rewind, catch up, and you want to use those functionalities, you just simply add 125 to your subscription.
Do you know what? I know there are viewers at home right now who are watching me and you from channel 286 on DStv.
Exactly.
You know, are they able to find us on all these packages that you've just mentioned?
Definitely. Eswatini TV is available on all of the packages, from access all the way to premium.
Okay, where do they find you? Where do they find you? If they want to come to you in person and maybe see Phumelele, you know, as intimately as I am right now, where do they have to go?
Okay, so we are available on 3 locations physically. We are in Babane, which is opposite Webster Print. We are in Ezulwini, the Gables, right opposite FNB. We are also in Manzini, right opposite the Lifestyle Center. We are also available on social media, on Instagram as well as on Facebook. Our Instagram handle is _DStv Eswatini, and then on Facebook you can find us at DStv Swaziland.
Yeah. Are there flexible payment solutions? Because, you know, people are always asking us those sort of questions these days in terms of convenience and all of that.
Yes, definitely. We are now living in the digital world, so everything is always about our convenience. So you are able to pay for your DStv subscription using Momo, You can pay using your FNB cell phone banking or via the app. You can pay using your Standard Bank online payment. And all of these three methods of payments are instant reconnection.
Yeah.
So even if you come back home, maybe we've already closed at the office and you notice that your TV is now off, you can simply use any of these three modes of payments and you'll get instant reconnection.
And then when it comes to the devices themselves, as well as, the connections and installations, are they able to get those sort of services from you guys as well?
Okay, not in-house. However, we do have people that we recommend that are very well trained to do the installations for our service.
Well, Kusile, thank you so much for joining us on the program. I'm sure I've covered everything that we need to cover, particularly for this February. This has been Phumelele Phumelele Kela, I beg your pardon. She's the marketing officer at DStv Eswatini. Look out for this February content and make sure that you do get it, because you also do get to get DStv channel Eswatini on channel 286. So make the right choice. Let's go for a net break.
Asambege, the show that pushes local celebrities out of their comfort zones and into uncharted territories. Get ready to witness the ultimate clash of skills, the battle of the unknown, and the test of celebrity mettle. Can they cook up a storm in the kitchen? Can they hit the high notes on stage? We're taking them out of their element and throwing them into the deep end. Don't miss the fun, the drama, and the surprises. Asambege.
Welcome back to the program. You're still watching Kusile Breakfast Show. This is one of our interesting interview segments, and this one particularly because it coincides with an event that is occurring, that is occasioning today in the country. Thousands and thousands of Form 5 students today are going through a crazy emotional roller coaster as they see their results. There's that, excitement, there's that uncertainty, and for many, that overwhelming pressure. There's a reason to celebrate, but there's also a moment to recalibrate that we have to, take heed of. But one thing is clear: mental health plays a pivotal role in how we continue to process and how to respond to all these outcomes that we are seeing today. Form 5 students, this emotional roller coaster can be intense. And as we face the reality of these results, we must also confront the deeper challenges: anxiety, fear. There's that fear of failure, as well as, the weight of the expectations that can be grueling as well. But we have someone that is going to help us, give us a guide through these emotional complexities. She's an expert who understands how mental health shapes our responses in times of stress and transition. Cindy Sobembe, you must know her by now. She's a psychiatric mental health specialist. She's here to offer her insights into how we can better support our young minds through these pivotal moments. Let's dive straight into this conversation. A very good morning to you, Mavundla. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. What an important day for a lot of Form 5s. You were once there yourself before you became a specialist. Maybe, as we start our conversation, let's look at the emotional impact of the results day. They can be an emotional roller coaster. How does the anxiety leading up to the results impact a student's mental, and why is it so common?
Thank you so much, Mr. Nwimalo, and good morning to the viewer out there. Indeed, it's such an exciting time, but very scary for the rest of the students, especially the Form 5 students, not leaving out the parents as well, because they were also part of the journey, of the exams. They were also not sleeping. They were offering coffee, offering whatever to get their students or their children to do well in their exams. So
Right.
as much as that period is over, now it's the waiting period, which is quite stressful. And at this time, it will definitely come with stress, a lot of stress and worry, just like you had mentioned, because as much as the exam is over, we were given the chance to write, and remember most of the things that we learned, but we do not know how we fared. Is it going to be a good result, or it's going to be
Yeah.
a fair result, or it's not going to be a result that is going to be favoring me? So all of that is something that will keep the student quite worried, and the parent, like I said. And also there's also that pressure of, we were writing as a team, we were writing as a class,
Yeah.
are we all
Yeah.
going to pass? Are we all going to make it? Who's going to do better than the other? Am I even going to be part of the group that have actually made it? And again, the country, is watching, how the results
Yeah.
are spoken about, how they're shared publicly. You are also part of that cohort, man. So you can't help but be worried and be stressed around it. So that is all that plays in the student's mind, in that, what are people going to say? How are people going to view me? And then themselves, then, how am I going to do? What will it mean to me? Am I moving to the next transition, being tertiary? Am I going to a college? Am I going to work? What does it mean to me? So all of that is playing in the student's mind.
It's quite interesting, because I think that those psychological factors that play a role in how a student reacts to their results, happen both positively and negatively. But I do want us to get into the crux of it now. I believe, something that becomes very important today as the results come out, coping with the expectation and the pressure, all the expectations that you have just alluded to. In your experience, how does the pressure of family and societal expectations weigh on students during this time?
Oh, it's the world is on their shoulders. The world is absolutely on their shoulders. Like I said, society, the whole kingdom is actually looking at them in terms of how did they fare. How is it going to place the country? The picture, this cohort of 2024, how did they fare versus 2023, 2022? So there really is a lot of weight on their shoulders. Same thing with their families. They also need to show that they have somebody that has done well, because again, we are judged rather by how we perform, or how our children are performing, which is quite not fair, but society is like that. So you find that indeed there's a lot that is going on. Society, like you mentioned, there are huge expectations from them, and then the family, and then themselves as well as individuals. So it's important that at the end of the day, they don't let that swallow them. They don't let the expectations from external people swallow them, or bring them down, or push them, mess with their emotions. As much as it's expected, this is the most crucial time to be, let's call it, selfish, where you're just looking at yourself. You're just looking at your performance. Listen, I gave it my best. Whatever results are going to come out, it's what I had tried my level best. And some others, they go through quite difficult times, during the exam. So you might find that there were external factors that caused somebody maybe not to do well. So it's a time where they must just try and block out any external information or voices that are going to be negative coming towards them.
And I suppose the biggest question, following what you've just, proposed, would have been, how can students manage the pressure to succeed, especially when they feel that it's tied to their identity or future? But I feel like you've already answered that by saying, even though we are careful in how we apply this, particular word, let them be selfish. They should be selfish. They should remember all the hard work that they put in, and just be kind towards themselves. But how do they then handle the disappointment or the setbacks? Because I suppose that becomes the subsequent sort of emotion that overwhelms you, because for those who may not get the results they hoped for, some of the strategies that you propose as a practitioner in your field of expertise, some of the strategies for coping with disappointment and moving forward.
Okay, thank you very much for that one. That one is quite critical, hey, because like we said, we are waiting for results, and results will come, and they can go either way. It's either you passed or you did not pass. So it's first and foremost, we need to appreciate the effort that we put in and be ready for any of the outcome, be it a good outcome or a bad outcome. And then it's also important to emphasize that disappointment is there. And when you're disappointed by the result that you got, definitely you're going to be feeling a particular way. You're definitely going to be feeling sad about it. You're definitely going to feel disappointed yourself, you know, about the results. So whatever feelings that you're going to be experiencing, please know that they are normal. You are not, you know, it's not something that is now different and you're feeling maybe concerned that what is now happening. So all that, it's part of the process to be disappointed and sad, you know, about the results, and then give yourself time to then adjust from those feelings. Let's not push our brothers and sisters to go get over it and go start afresh, you know, or restart or rewrite this exam. Let's give them time to process those feelings, and then let us then sit down as an individual that has received these results. Let's just sit down and maybe re-strategize. What then can I do? What does this mean? What then can I do? Am I going back to restart? Am I remarking? Am I rewriting a particular paper?
Yeah.
Now, if you sit down with yourself and look at the next steps, it's going to help you process all the feelings that you're going through, rather than just staying at that negativity of, this is what has come out, I have failed, now I don't know what to do. It's okay. Give yourself time. And when you're done with that, just breathe, you know, and explore do a bit of research. And then when you're done with that, then you take the initiative to look at what could be next for me. Then, of course, is support. We really wish if our families could support us, the parents, the siblings, the cousins, or auntie, any. Just give them support to go, yes, the results are like this, then what else can you do? How can we help you in what you want to do? And then you can move forward.
And I suppose you've also answered the question around, you know, how students can rebuild their self-esteem and mental resilience after a perceived failure. Because it's important that, you know, while we look at the two obvious spectrums of, you know, you either pass or you fail, there's also, you know, passing but not to your satisfaction. You may have wanted to, you know, pass and go to Wits University, but your results now say you're going to UNESWA or you're going to, you know, Eswatini College of Technology. There's also that aspect of it. There's a bit of disappointment, but also, you know, I suppose there's some sort of, you know, comfort to a certain extent, because you also think about it could have been worse.
Yes, of course, it could have been worse, but you did your best, and these are the results. You know, one thing, as you're saying this, Mr. Ngumalo, one thing we must realize is that there would not be places where they are offering ball rewriting or restarting or extra classes had it not been the fact that there will be people that do not do well. You know, you find that somebody was not able to do well and they were like, this is not my potential. And if they go and restart, or they just go through some classes and they rewrite maybe for the following year, you find that they do exceptionally well, you know, exceptionally well. The pressure is too much during exam time. There's also fear around that exam time. So really, sometimes you don't perform as much as you would have expected. And we all don't do we don't fare the same under pressure. But if you're writing now a few subjects later, you find that you will do exceptionally well. So don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. You know, there are these facilities that are there. And again, Mr. Ngumalo, I don't know if you know, I don't know if you've been there. I'm telling you, you will not be the only one that is there taking those extra classes. The class will be full. So again, I'll wait. You know, you will not be the only one. You will tackle this as a team again, as a class again, and you put in the extra effort. And then again, the plus to it is that you're probably redoing, you know, maybe it's the whole grade or Form 5 again, yabo, or you're just writing a few of those subjects. And again, you'll do well if you just pace yourself, fix a bit of where you think this is where I never did well, correct that, you'll be good to go.
Yeah, and I suppose, have I been there? I believe everyone's been there, but it depends on the discipline with which it happened. It may not be, in academia, but I play basketball. There's a set of people that get punished for missing, and you are never alone there. It's rarely that you're the only person that missed. So it's different situations, but there's always another group. So you're never alone. But thank you so much, Cindy, for your time. I'm afraid we have run out of time. Would have loved to get into mental health beyond academics, because it is important to emphasize that a student's worth should not be defined by their academics. There was Cindy Bembe. She is a mental health specialist under the Ministry of Health. All the best to everyone who has yet to see their results this morning. Congratulations to all those that have passed. And those that haven't really made it, you are not alone. You are still a great person in this life. And there's always a second chance. And there's always something else that you can do if that is not what you are destined for. Let's go for a net break. The show continues after the break.
When you choose your adventures, you do so with an open heart and a desire for the unexpected. You embark on journeys to discover new worlds full of wonder. You choose a path to awaken your senses, a world to make you look up and realize just how inspiring this life can be. Arrive and awaken your heart. Explore life in ways only thought possible in your dreams. Discover just how far you go to expand your understanding of life's greatest mysteries. There's just one place on this planet with so much to offer. Now is the time for you to have the royal experience in the kingdom.
Ngosihlahla siphindze sinivusele solonibukela Kusile breakfast show uhlelo lwalomuhla ekseni kunguLesihlanu sisephetha lona liviki seloku siyabhobola imigwaqo yethu dithika bedo letingaba khona seta uphuma sibheke khona emisebenzini kuphetha lona liviki lelisetulu umlangeni sehlodla mina uyasipha lo mbiko lo nomhla ekseni sikuvusele Nkosi
Anguvusele Mnguni nguvusele nabo bonke lebabukela wona umsakazo sibuko seMaswati
Losiphathele wona lo mhla ekseni embiko kuthini sipopolele imigwaqo
Mnguni imigwaqo yelive sesihlolile ikakhulu nje ke lesikubonile kungaba kulapha edolobheni lakaManzini lapho khona sibonile sikhinyabedo kunanguya umgwaqo wethu longu Ngwane Street lohlangana kanye naye Martin Street emarobhoti ethu abhanyata umbala lobovu kani lawa lalapha ngesheya eRemind wona awasebenzi edolobheni laseMbabane kuyahambeka ngaphandle nje kwaloko ukuthi idolobha lethu limandi kwadise phela ukuthi besisolo sithola yona imvula nasisuka sibheka khona lapha eMankayane eTulo eNtsabeni kumbonye yona inkungu nemigwaqo yabo imandi kufaka ikhathi nangala ngesheya nawubheka khona kubomalutha wenge khona eBhunya nakhona awulimbonyile linayo inkungu nakhona kucaphelisa nje ke size ukuthi imigwaqo kishele eminingi yethu lesinayo eveni imande kanti lapha eTulo kaHlatsi nawukhuphuka kubusakeni nakhona imbonyile inkungu ize ifake ikhathi edolobheni lakaHlatsi lapha ke inhlangano khona umgwaqo wethu lo lapha kaMjudaso lo usavaliwe siyancisa nje ke size ukuthi hambe siyojika lapha ngakafaya siyojika ngasesontweni lemamuslim lito khona ukuthi lichubeke libheke khona kuboSihluthe naboThunzini ngaphandle kwaloko kweshiselo nasikhuphuka sitam kubomafutheni nakhona siwukhanzile umgwaco umangi kwathi sesela kwekuthi umsimakaze awubeka linye dalive umgwaco nakhona kunxusa njeke ukuthi sishayele ngalokukhulu ukucophelela lokunye ke lesikubonile kungaba ngiyo imfuyo lekhona emgwacweni lengasibangela dona ingoti nangabe sitawuphakamisa tinyawo unxusa njeke ukuthi emaswati phela lokulina kuhamba kube nawo phela emachaphothi emgwacweni asingahambi ngelitubane lelisetulu bese sesibanga kwekuthi lesive lekungisona sihamba kuma pavements bese sesibabeke indzawo la singabalekela khona setikhanze sesigijima singena khona emgwacweni ngenxa yokuthi sitawutselwa ngiwo phela emanti la bese senta ukuthi la afika khona afike sangasawulunge nemisebenzi ngaphandle kwaloko emadolobha lasembabane tibane tiyasebenza kahle kakhulu nalapha kumachapha nakhona tibane tiyasebenza sekungaba ngisho njeke ukuthi nasifika lapha kubo St Andrews sikhanzile i-Road Safety Stakeholder Alliance tinhlangothi tonke letibukele kona kuphepha eveni tibuka bona phela abantwana kuhamba kwabo kuya esikolweni timoto letibambisako kanye nabo njeke kuphepha kwaso size ikakhulu lo mliba loya embili kungaba ngiloko lenguphethe elangeni lalamuhla ngethembe ukuthi emaswati ayawuthi abe nembalasonto lephephile mngoni
Smakhulu Nkosi sibonga loyo mbiko losipha wona sethembe sive semaswati siyakuthatha lokho ke lositshela kona lomhla ekseni setawuphuma sibhe khona emisebenzini nasetikolweni nalapha bekungisehlo Dlamini labaqhamuka lapha ke emaphoyiseni oluhlangothini labasipopulela imigwaco yethu lapha evena sibahlolene emakethe sitawubuya netindzaba tesingisi. Ujala masada mahle kunathi lesa.
Sabatandi ukuthi njengalokho
sivile sive sitikhulume.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's look at our news now. His Excellency, the Right Honourable Prime Minister Russell Dlamini has requested senators to present a humble address to His Majesty King Mswati III, thanking him for the speech from the throne that he delivered during the official opening of the second session of the 12th Parliament last week Friday. The Prime Minister made this request through a motion which he raised in the House of Senate.
Bagay may kamarjit tonge tsanot sidekim koga kakhulu ekusebenzeni kwahulumende lenkoa kakhulu wo futhi emaswati kubonakele ukuthi futhi itsinzile tonke tingoni noma letinyenti ke betiphakamisiwe futhi esibayeni lokuthi sive sicela ukuthi uhulumende atinake kakhulu ingube phansi lokuthi lo mnyaka akube umnyaka weguquko umnyaka losedulu wa 2025 esikujabulela kakhulu futhi ke bese vele kutawungena kuwo umgomo wokusebenza kwahulumende ingube mhlaba ikhombisile ukuthi ngenkulumo yayo yanaka izimo tesive lapho khona ithi bogoga banakekelwe kakhulu yathi nengishaya nakekelwe futhi kodwa iphindeke yasiniketha ukuthatha ukuthi ababonele bogogo kuyo yona imbasha yabo inze futhi endlulisa kumestela ukhomba kungajabuli ukuthi noma sijabulile ngetimvula letifikile vele letinyenti yangesikela labo-ke laba bese bayalahlekelwa impahla yabo ngato timvula letinyenti. Nakile-ke yadumisa futhi umsebenzi weParliamente tinkhulumo letendiwe la netinqumo letithethwe isasebenta indlu yeParliament.
After His Excellency the Right Honourable Prime Minister moved the motion, the President of Senate, Senator Lindiwe Dlamini, opened the floor to senators to debate the motion.
Sekhutalwandle mengameli ukuthi wekunene bekangabona kufanele ukuthi bogogo sebangathi kumane hulumende wakhe abahamba yobuka sengabachaza kancane ngithi nje mengameli sidumisa kakhulu kuye okandaba ukuthi bekangababonela abantu labadzala bese isihlava lendzaba sekukhaleke kakhulu mengameli.
Itsinzile imbube yemhlaba mengameli ukuthi we need to align when it comes to education, to align our education system where nawo wonke umhlaba ukhona sivile futhi agcizelela ukuthi kumcoka kanganani ukuthi bantfu labasha ba-equipe ngawo kokubili academic nema practical skills.
Lengayiva kahle yenzaba iradiation lokubonakala ukuthi ithi vele yonke lento kusekufuna ukuthi salokwentiwa kubonakala ukuthi kwentiwa lo msebenzi wonke la kangwanoba lesigaba sale cancer sidlala ngelive.
Kunento ingwenyama lehlale ikhuluma ngayo. Ngiyacabanga lokuthi nakuye kunene sokwaba silonza lesingapheli indzaba yengohlakalo. Ingohlakalo mengameli ikhungethe live. Angathi lokuthi sitawuhamba sifike kuphi ngayo. Ngobe njalo ingwenyama nayivula iParliament ayisali indzaba yabo bubble.
The Senate President then explained the processes to be followed when implementing the Honourable Prime Minister's motion.
Labavumelana naleshukumisa batathi aye. Labangavumelana batathi nay. The ayes have it and the ayes have it. Timbone hloniphekile i-sessional committee yethu itawuvele isikhethele lawo malunga abe mathathu latawuvele aphekeletele ahlangane kanye nemalunga lataba khona kuba esikhulu. And then standing order set 196 siyasho sitabe sesiyabuya sesiyayipota leyo nkulumo lesitabe sibuye nayo timbongi.
Reporting Mbongwa Dube, Bongani Masuku and Smuva Shongwe Lobamba.
The Deputy Prime Minister's office, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT, are working on a system that will collect data about every homestead as well as every citizen in the National Social Security Registry to know the number of people in need and their location. The Deputy Prime Minister, Kusile said this when accepting a check that is amounting to 5.6 million emalangeni from the Taiwan Embassy. The check was handed over by the Ambassador, Jeremy Liang.
Taiwan Ambassador Jeremy Liang says after the disaster caused by the torrential rains, they had to give a hand to the nation.
The Taiwanese people strongly believe that true friends stand together in times of adversity. When the Deputy Prime Minister, Her Excellency, contacted me for the urgent needs of assistance, immediately the Taiwanese government allocated 5.6 million emalangeni to aid in disaster relief.
Deputy Prime Minister Senator Kusile says when creating this registry, they are working with different ministries, which include the Ministry of Economic Planning and the Ministry of Home Affairs, to mention a few. The Deputy Prime Minister also says the donated amount can build up to 50 houses. And this project is going to be done by the National Disaster Management Agency.
On behalf of His Majesty's government and the people of this beautiful kingdom, to extend our heartfelt and deepest appreciation to the government of the Republic of China and Taiwan for this generous contribution of 5.6 million towards the provision of decent shelter for our vulnerable populations through transforming their current mud houses into brick-layered structures.
In the government program of action on social protection, government says from the year 2026 to year 2028, they will need an amount of 250 million to strengthen and create laws that will govern social protection that include the National Social Assistance Policy, National Children Policy, and the Disability Policy. And also the creation of the National Social Protection Plan, together with laws that govern the elderly, will need an amount of 102 million emalangeni. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Zetable Mamba, together with LinkedIn Gule in Babane.
The 2025 Back to School campaign that was launched by the Deputy Prime Minister's office continues to receive a lot of support from companies, as a number of them are handing over donations. OK Foods has donated uniform to be handed to Mbosi Primary School, and FinCorp donated toiletry essentials.
Both companies committed to helping the Deputy Prime Minister's office to influence sustainability in lives of the Maswati and to help their businesses grow.
Kusiniketa intokodo lenkulu sisi OK Foods ukuthi singakhona nathi kubuyisela emangweni kuyona le mango lesupportako.
OK Foods operational manager Sanele Dlamini says they acknowledge that children are the future and their mandate is to give back to the community.
As FinCorp, we remain steadfast in fulfilling our founding mandate, working diligently to empower Emaswati and support economic growth. We look forward to continued collaboration with the Deputy Prime Minister's office and other stakeholders to create a lasting impact in our communities. Together, we can achieve more.
This Back to School campaign that was initiated by the Deputy Prime Minister's office continues to get support from companies. The DPM's office received a donation of 25,000 emalangeni. The Deputy Prime Minister then applauded the work done by these companies in assisting the government.
Asibonge kakhulu nkosem OK, asendlule OK, size siyobonga ngisho neMaswati. Lathenga la OK. Because eMaswati beamhambela kancane lo OK weMaswati. Ngaba bekho la.
The Deputy Prime Minister Kusile encourages the Maswati to continue supporting businesses owned by Emaswati. She says these businesses in turn helps the development of Emaswati through donations. She further thanked Emaswati who support local businesses.
Lokhu kusho a lot to us. Kuthi kule interest lenitfolile kulo msebenzi weMaswati. Nithite lencane kunokuthi nathi ngapho ukuthi khulisele imiholo ase uthi silalele lokhunye ingwenyama ukuthi singeMaswati asibambisane.
OK Food donated uniforms that will be given to Mbosi Primary School, while FinCorp donated essential toiletries like soap, dignity packs, shoe polish, to mention a few. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I am Zetable Mamba, together with LinkedIn Gule in Babane.
The Honourable Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manqoba Khumalo, has officially launched the Eswatini National Policy for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, which envisages to accelerate development, support, as well as to create a highly profitable and entrepreneurial sector in the country. Now, the minister says the 7-pillar policy will also ensure that all sectors of the economy, including businesses of the vulnerable, thus speeding up the economic development of the kingdom.
When launching the policy, which would run until the year 2029, the Honourable Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade, Manqoba Khumalo, explained that it was a review of the 2018 policy, which has now taken into account a number of factors that are key to sustainable economic development.
SDG number 8 focuses on the inclusive and sustainable economic growth, which speaks to decent work for all, and this is one of the strategic pillars that this policy seeks to achieve. This policy has been shaped by extensive stakeholder consultations and global best practice, which encompass providing a conducive enterprise environment assistance in business development and promotion, financing of viable business propositions and market linkages. All these key strategic areas are to be supported by sound infrastructure as well as technology.
By supporting MSMEs, we can create many job opportunities across various sectors, helping to reduce unemployment.
The United Nations Development Programme Resident Representative Henrik Franklin says they shall continue to give support to the Kingdom's business development initiatives in order to enable local business to leverage opportunities on regional and international markets. The Honourable Minister Mangoba Khumalo further explained that the new policy is aligned with other programs and government instruments aimed at accelerating economic development, which include the Citizens Economic Empowerment Act, which came into effect in the year 2024. Reporting, Mbongo Dube, Mbabane.
Following the adjournment of Parliament before the Select Committee on Plastic Bags concluded its work last year, the chairman of the committee, Honourable Masipula Mamba, moved a motion without notice during the first sitting of the second session of the 12th Parliament to request for an extension of time to conclude the committee's work.
This follows complaints by some sectors of society that the ban on single-use plastic bags will lead to massive loss of employment to those who are working in plastic manufacturing firms, recyclers, and those who make a living out of waste.
Mr. Speaker, mhla 25 November 2024, iParliament yakhetha libandla lengiliholako kwekuthi kube nemsebenzeli wendaba. Bengite ucela ke emcondzisi with the leave of the house ukuthi leli committee limane licala umsebenzi walo kusukela lamhla liqhubeka njalo 14 days and bring back the report to the house after the next 14 days. Ngoba indlu yase iba sinedi after the committee was elected. Ngiyacela mcondzisi.
The Speaker of the House, Honourable Jablan Mabuza, then put the motion to vote.
Labathi ke cha iyevakala indzaba yemhlonishwa siyamvumela abathi ayi laba ngakuvumi lokho abathi nay. The ayes have it and the ayes have it.
The 7-member committee is now expected to table its report in the House in 14 days, and part of its terms of reference is to look into whether all stakeholders, including manufacturers, were consulted when the single-use plastic ban was put in place, as well as ascertain if the production of eco-bags in the country is adequate to meet the needs of consumers. Reporting, Mbongo Dube, Bongan Masugu, and Smuva Shongwe in Lobamba.
The governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini says they reduced 8% 2025-2026 electricity tariff hike, and the 7% in the year 2027 and 26 will slow the magnitude of inflation increases, as it will be at a lesser impact compared to the initial 14.67%. He explained about some of the things considered during the monetary policy formulation after an upward revised inflation forecast.
The Central Bank of Eswatini revised the inflation forecast to 5.25% from a previous 4.87% in its inflation forecast released on Tuesday. Given the upward revision in the inflation outlook, we asked the Governor, Dr. Phil Nisi, on the projected monetary policy path.
Looking at the indicators, I am delighted with the announcement of the electricity increase. At the figure of almost 15% was certainly going to fuel inflation quite aggressively. I'm not saying that at the 8% it's not going to do so, but it will be at a lesser impact. The revised inflation outlook, it's not the only measure or indicator we use for policy formulation, but it is a contributor. We are not inflation targeting as a bank and as part of our monetary policy, but we look at the increases in prices, we look at financial stability, credit to the private sector, growth in non-performing loans, regional geopolitical issues. So it is an aggregated macro economic barometer that we look at that will inform the policy. At the moment, we have got an accommodative monetary policy. We kept the interest rates low. We are maintaining a 50% differential from South Africa. So I will not necessarily say the inflation outlook is suggesting otherwise, but it will be looked contextually. But for now, the about 50 basis points increase from the previous outlook is well justified, looking especially on increases in administered prices, mainly increases in water, increases in electricity, and any other energy input into the inflation basket.
With the revised inflation, the bank cited the United States' change in trade policies posing risks to exchange rates and oil prices as one of the reasons for the revision.
For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamandla, Vuminkosi Nzinisa Mbabane.
Well, the Kingdom of Eswatini has achieved global recognition as the Central Bank of Eswatini's 50th Malangeni Anniversary Banknote has won the prestigious Best New Commemorative Banknote Award. The award was presented on Tuesday evening in Basel, Switzerland, during the Reconnaissance High Security Printing Europe Middle East Africa Region Conference, a leading forum for the most innovative and secure document technologies globally. The governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Dr. Mnisi, says this achievement is a testament to the bank's commitment to excellence and innovation in the field of currency design and security.
The commemorative banknote started circulating in September 2024 and celebrates Eswatini's economic achievements over the past 5 decades. It highlights the nation's cultural rich heritage, environmental beauty, tourism, technological innovations, and infrastructural achievements of Eswatini. Issuance and redemption of currency is one of the core mandates of the central bank. And from time to time, we renew the features of the notes to ensure that they remain high security. And with time, and especially with issues of the environment, climate change, we are beginning to adapt the notes so that they are environmentally friendly and climate change compliant. So this to us is critical in terms of the strategic direction. So the note has to speak or is speaking to how the central bank is contributing in the carbon footprint protection of the country. Now, in terms of how it benefits the nation, with a high quality note of this standard, it stays longer in the hands of the people, which means your note in your hand remains protected in terms of the high quality security features. And secondly, it does not deteriorate much quicker. That contributes to the economic activity of the country. It's a quite technical, we call it the value of seigniorage. In other words, the longer the note stays in the hands of the people, the more bolstered is our economic contribution.
Shifting our focus now to the international front, with the White House on Wednesday saying that President Donald Trump has not committed to using United States troops for his plan to redevelop Gaza into the Riviera of the Middle East, and that the relocation of Palestinians will only be temporary. Now, the shift comes amid global backlash and a United Nations warning against any form of ethnic cleansing. I beg your pardon.
More than 500,000 Palestinians, almost a quarter of the population, have crossed into northern Gaza. They're defiant in the face of President Donald Trump's announcement on Tuesday that the U.S. will take over the Palestinian enclave.
Trump can dream on if he thinks he can displace or expel us.
On Tuesday, Trump was asked if he would send American troops to seize Gaza.
As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt clarified his remarks Wednesday.
But that does not mean boots on the ground in Gaza. It does not mean American taxpayers will be funding this effort. It means Donald Trump, who is the best deal maker on the planet, is going to strike a deal with our partners in the region.
But partners in the region condemned the idea, including Jordan and Egypt, the two neighboring countries Trump is pushing to accept Palestinians. Jordan's King Abdullah met Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas in Amman Wednesday, the same day that top Palestinian officials met Egypt's foreign minister in Cairo. They stressed the need for a two-state solution. So did United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
It is vital to stay true to the bedrock of international law. It is essential to avoid any form of ethnic cleansing.
Saudi Arabia, the geopolitical and cultural leader of the Arab world, said on state TV that their support for Palestinian statehood is, quote, firm, steadfast, and unwavering.
This firm position is not subject to negotiation or outbidding.
The statement contradicts Trump's claim on Tuesday that the Saudis are not demanding a Palestinian homeland.
Saudi Arabia is going to be very helpful, and they have been very helpful. They want peace in the Middle East.
The Saudis had been negotiating with the Biden administration to recognize Israel in exchange for a security and energy pact. But talks were halted by Hamas' October 7, 2023 attack and Israel's counteroffensive. A deal with the Saudis would have expanded the Trump-brokered 2020 Abraham Accords that normalized ties between Israel and Arab countries. Riyadh will be more cautious, at least for now.
Mohammed bin Salman at the moment doesn't see any kind of immediate benefit for him to go ahead with President Trump's plan, which is, by the way, outrageous, and the whole world seems to be against it.
That includes adversaries such as China and Russia, and allies including Germany, France, and Britain.
They must be allowed home. They must be allowed to rebuild, and we should be with them in that rebuild on the way to a two-state solution.
The White House now says Trump's plan is to only temporarily relocate Palestinians.
It's not a livable place for any human being. And I think it's actually quite evil to suggest that people should live in such dire conditions.
Leavitt said Trump will speak with regional leaders in the coming days. Meanwhile, demonstrators gathered in cities across the U.S. to protest Trump's early actions, including on Gaza.
Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba will meet United States President Donald Trump at the White House on Friday. Japanese officials say they want to reaffirm the U.S.-Japan alliance and build strong personal ties between Ishiba and Trump.
Since starting his second term, U.S. President Donald Trump has quickly reapplied pressure on countries he says are exploiting the United States.
They're coming in and they're stealing our wealth, they're stealing our jobs, they're stealing our companies.
That pressure extends to U.S. friends, with Trump threatening tariffs and even suggesting taking Greenland and making Canada the 51st U.S. state. That is the context for Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's first meeting with Trump on Friday. And it's worrying many in Tokyo, says Professor Jeffrey J. Hall.
If you watch Japanese media or you listen to what Japanese people say, they're just hoping that Ishiba can get out of this meeting without becoming a victim of some kind of new attack from America.
During Donald Trump's first term, U.S.-Japan tensions were tempered, partly because of the personal diplomacy of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. But that approach may be difficult for Ishiba, who has a much different personality.
He's a kind of academic guy. He likes to just explain in excruciating detail, which can be good in a parliamentary debate or in some other setting, but when it comes to Trump, it's the polar opposite of the kind of conversation that Trump likes to have.
Some in Japan question why Ishiba is meeting Trump right now at all. Instead, they ask, why not stay off Trump's radar as long as possible? Others argue it's better to be proactive, in part to protect against any future strains in the alliance.
Some people say that don't wake up a sleeping baby, but you have to take a risk if you want to have a better relationship.
It's the same dynamic facing virtually every U.S. ally as Trump again pursues his America First approach to the world.
U.S. Border Patrol agents are detaining undocumented migrants as part of President Donald Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration. Now, many of those arrests have been in California, where one city is trying to break with the state and cooperate with the federal immigration agencies. That is how we wrap up our international news. We are going to look at our leading sports headlines and sports news. The chairman of Referees Association, Smangan Hlego, is appealing the public and football fraternity at large of scammers who are pretending to be referees and contacting team officials requesting money in exchange of favorable results in the field of play. Hlego says football games cannot be sold, and he revealed this in a media briefing at Stigwaqa House.
As the Referees Association, we are, on behalf of our members, we are disassociating ourselves from such conduct. We are saying we don't know those people. Although it has come to our attention that there exist certain people who are doing such. And we are saying to the public at large, including football owners and football lovers and club officials, if it so happens that you receive that call calls upon you to pay a certain amount of money for a favorable result, just ignore that call, firstly. Secondly, report such incident to the nearest law enforcement.
And that is how we cap off our English news. Let's look at our weather forecast.
Eswatini TV has signed a code of conduct that is enforced by the Eswatini Communications Commission. We are committed to reporting news that is accurate, comment that is fair, and programming that does not amount to hate speech or the description of gratuitous violence or explicit sex. For any complaints of our programming, please contact us on 2411-9600 or email info@eswatinitv.co.za. You can also contact the Eswatini Communications Commission on 2406-7000 or write a letter to ECCOM on PO Box 7811 Mbabane. Email address is info@ecom.org.sz.
Welcome back to the show and thank you for staying with us. Let's address now the recent reports regarding the indefinite closure of the Look Commission, popularly known as the TLC. It first came to our attention via social media. While TLC has not formally notified the government, we have shared a long-standing partnership with the institution. That is, part of the words that have been pronounced under the newly produced government statement, from close collaboration during the COVID-19 pandemic to our ongoing provision of essential medicines and equipment. in response to TLC's cash flow challenges. That is the government of Eswatini promptly establishing a task team there led by the principal PS of the Ministry of Health, and presented several proposals, including a subvention model similar to that used with the Royal Fitkin Memorial and Good Shepherd hospitals. Now, to seek lasting solutions as discussions continue an amicable resolution under the laws of the Kingdom of Eswatini, there is that remaining focus on ensuring that every Maswati have access to affordable quality healthcare. Joining us now, government spokesperson Afios Ngumalo, to chime into this development. Mr. Ngumalo, good morning to you. If you will outline the immediate steps government has taken since learning about the closure of TLC. Of course, we are awake to the government produced statement in response, but let's engage with the whole nation now. We have this pleasure this morning to engage with you. What are some of the discussions there to address these challenges that are pertain?
Thank you so much, Ngone, and to your listeners. We had a lengthy discussion yesterday, a meeting between His Excellency the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health, after we have also learned through social media platforms that Look Commission have since closed their gates. What we did as of the immediate measure, the Minister of Health dispatched ambulances to take the patients there to other hospitals such as Nazarene and Good Shepherd and Government Hospital in Babane in a way to mitigate against what could actually be serious repercussions as a result of the outright closure of Look Commission. So that is what government have done as of yesterday morning. We are continuing with that process today to ensure that there is no Leswati that will remain in a closed health facility. We are going to move them out. And whilst we are doing that, we are aware, of course, that Look Commission have not formally informed government about the decision of the closure of the hospital. And the reasons attributed to that, of course, are touching on the issue of the presidential order of the USA in terms of the PEF funds that they were accessing in helping their hospital. So government is still extending an invitation to Look Commission to come to the table with the Minister of Health. They are waiting for them so that they can put their heads together and crack their brains together in a way to find a solution going forward.
Mguni, I have the government statement in front of me, and it does mention, several proposals, including a subvention model similar to those that is used with other health facilities. If you will, and we do understand that it was presented to TLC, by the way, share what the next steps are in pursuing a sustainable resolution.
The proposals are not new, they are straightforward. Like we are also pointing out that this is a funding model that government is already using with other health institutions around the country. Because essentially, Maswat must remember one thing. Look Commission is an NGO that was established by those who established it for their own purpose and intentions. And every NGO that is established, it is established to assist government, to complement the efforts of government. It is not the other way around. Nazarene, Good Shepherd, those were all NGOs that were established by their respective churches, Catholic and the Nazarene Church, as the case may be. And after a long time, of course, they approached government with a view that they are no longer able to sustain the hospitals. That's how and why government came in to give those hospitals subvention. However, when you give an institution or an NGO government funding, there is a law that government must comply with, which we call Public Financial Management Act. There is no way you can take government money and just use it anyhow, because Parliament is in place in order to ensure that the executive spend government money in compliance with the laws of the land. So we don't know why the Commission is having some problems or challenges in complying with that law, because that is what the Minister of Health is negotiating with them, to say, come to the table, let us work the modalities of how we fund the institution, and the modalities of funding TLC cannot be different from the modalities that government uses to fund other health institutions, because that is what is provided for in the law. So the Minister of Health is still awaiting for the management and the leaders of TLC to come and regroup again and join in the table and work a way forward in terms of how government assists them financially.
Yeah, Ngoni, perhaps as we wrap up our interview, let me read this excerpt from the statement. And, I think it's one of my favorite things about what our government does in coming with a resolution towards, addressing situations that are currently engulfing our beautiful kingdom. It says here, in the meantime, government has begun evacuating severely ill patients from TLC to other health facilities where they are receiving care. During the time of the closure of TLC, the public is urged to utilize facilities near to them. How are we managing this transition to maintain uninterrupted access to essential services for Eswatini?
Let me give you a clear, practical example. The Minister of Health, as from last week actually, when we were still grappling with what will happen in terms of the presidential order of the U.S., which was suspending assistance to developing countries. The Minister of Health has actually supplied all medical drugs in all our health facilities in the country, more than 100%. Right now we are stocked more than 100%. As if we were anticipating the problem that will emanate as a result of what we were faced with last week. We were not even thinking that we will have such a sudden development as we have right now as a result of the outright closure of TLC. So that is what the government have done, and we have provided enough ambulances to ensure that anyone that needs help from TLC, we have 24/7 access to transportation to take them to hospitals which are ready to receive them. So those are the immediate measures that we have in place, and hopefully the Commission, by the time they engage government, whenever they do, these measures that we have in place would have alleviated whatever challenges that are currently unfolding in that hospital.
Nguni, thank you so much for your time this morning. As always, we really appreciate your prompt reactions and availability towards addressing these important and critical issues that affect Eswatini. That was government spokesperson Alpheus Nxumalo chiming in with regards to the Luke Commission's indefinite closure. He has answered all our critical and important questions. We hope that you are satisfied with this conversation that we just heard. It is still a developing story, as he has mentioned, that there will still be conversations and perhaps other meetings in terms of finding more resolutions. But our government has since made important decisions to make sure that Eswatini, that we're relying on the services of the TLC, continue to access those services from our other health facilities. Let's go for a net break. We'll be back with our sports update.
Here's another Popping Friday evening right here on Friday Night Lights, baby. This is the platform for the coolest DJs in the kingdom.
sithi asendlulise kudumisa uyomlisa uphuma uyangena wekunene nanini bofakazi uphumile waya ngaphandle kwale live letinye tinkaphana abuye nato wekunene simbone ehla enyuka nawo wonke nangimathapha avula emabhizinisi
nakaya ngaphandle mind of state Mr Speaker aphuma only if kuyiwelukhethweni ayawucasta for amavote ayawukhanvasa for amavote but sibona thina imbubo emhlaba iya kubantu bayo ayike ofuna livote iyawubasekela iyabakhuthaza ukuthi abasebente babe munye iyawufaka kuthula sitasukuthi umise Mr Speaker lokhu sethembe nokusinemhlaba utawufunza lokuthi vele nasifuna unyawo lolungilo vele kufuna kubiwe kangwane ulandwe nalunyawo nalo ngase libonakele Mr Speaker.
The live leli Mr Speaker sidinga everything that is positive about it and sidinga ukuthi uhulumende abonakale adeliver to complement ema efforts of state. So in other words Mr Speaker silokhudwa lolwandle sithi songa singene kuleyo mainstream politics that direction lesayithethwe head of state.
Noma ngabe ukuliphi office noma ngabe ukuliphi litiko siyakunxusa lokho ukuthi wosina ulala na uvuka kusasa njengoba namhla iteka la parliament wonke leso office Mr Speaker avuke anjinjile ngoba speaker kumbe statinyikanyisa letitolo.
For us as a legislature, what are the policy changes that we should be prioritizing to make sure that the culture in Ngosleskombisayon becomes our daily culture, nanazi, becomes our way of life? Ngoba sitinkinke ngema procedures lapha lesawathola ngidiphethe asifuni kusuka kuwo kanzi kude la simixa khona.
Echendlovu, it was so amazing. It was just out of this world. Kubona umphathi welive recognizing just ordinary citizens. You wouldn't just imagine engcenye kube bekungimi ngabe ngakhohlwa ngalamaswati who did lokuhle kangaka for live.
Njengaloku ingwenyama sesikhombisile ukuthi asiresponde to the concerns of emaswati. Uma sisukuma sibambana kunyente sita ku-achieve silive.
KBS Sports Update sibonga kakhulu kusolo nathi ehlelweni kusile breakfast show lamhla kungilesihlanu ntolo ke nzambama sibukele i-draw lapha ekhaya Eswatini TV bukhoma ingwenyama cup emacembu ke latawuchuthelana ku last 8 sitawufuna ke lo mhla kuseni kuyitaka bandi leyo ukuthi ngabe how did leyo draw leyo result how are the teams faring there and what should we possibly expect kusisaya khona ke kuyo yona leyo midlalo ye last 8 but ke angeke bekule mphela sonto lena njengoba ke kule mphela sonto lena sigadze ukuthi kube nema games ayo MTN Premier League. Some of the games atawuqala lo muhla empeleni Green Mamba atawuchuthelana neSwatini United lamuhla atawuqhubeka ke ama games over the weekend with Buffaloes playing with Eswatini United. Swallows will face Imadlenya, but I think the key thing here will be discussing particularly our standings at and what we should expect to happen after this weekend. Njengoba nje Green Mamba so loku ihleli esicongweni landzelwa iRoyal Leopard, but we will hopefully in the interest of time nangabe sitawuvuma sibukene Carabao Cup lesibukele kuleli viki. Phathiswa Msibi use studio esikuvusele Ndlondlo sibonile itolo ngwenyama Cup. The last 8 you were there, you saw everything unfold. See a quick recap, particularly with the teams la drawiwe.
So idraw ikhona itolo khona lapha ka MVA la bese kuyiyo i-last 8 njalo kutakhumbula ukuthi ama team lasele kune iLove kunezolweni ngilositha ngesebets kune Buffalo Leopard Swallows kanye nePirates yasemoneni. So we're very interested kubona ukuthi ngabe atawuthonsana kanjani because previously this round and the semi-finals they gave us fixtures la I'd say solid fixtures, category A fixtures previously, but I'll say this time around it was different. So I don't know, but say, was it just a coincidence? Just nje.
Yeah.
Because kuthendakalile ukuthi all the so-called small teams,
sure,
will play the big teams. The way laphume ngayo, so it's like the smaller teams are decide they are the host. They'll be hosting the bigger side.
teams.
Yeah. Mawubuka nje the results of the draw. Ilovo will be playing Young Buffaloes. That was the first draw lendiwe. And it was followed by Eswatini, itodlala ne Royal Leopard. And we have Velocity Space, itodlala ne Mbabane Swallows. One thing I'll say about this fixture, Velocity Space ne Mbabane Swallows, up until I'll say Swallows ibe lucky kakhulu kule Kwenyama Cup so far up until now.
Even with this draw, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because they first draw a team yaga lower division.
Yeah.
First division. 3 ma draws for Mbabane Swallows onke ako first division. Bese imanzi nesiphethe idlala neMoreno Pirates so those are the fixtures. Mawungabuka ke kuma log standing onke lama team la away. Ku league position aletulu.
Yeah.
Then the other one alenge pass ngiko ngithi the bigger teams versus the so-called small teams.
Yeah.
Iphume kanjalo ke i-draws so lebe khona itola lapha ka MVA not ukuthi sithini timvo tendeka nje kuyenteka the other times ake sabona i-Wanderers was it Highlanders and Swallows but drawana early in the tournament, so things like this happen now and again.
What do you expect then in terms of your own predictions? I think the simplest prediction to make here, even though football you can never really be so bold with your prediction, but I think the easiest one here is calling a Swallows win and seeing them qualify. But they're into the last 8.
Probably, but then again, you're looking at like we are going to lose it space. Because already shy Highlanders in this same tournament. Now they are playing in Mbabane Swallows. Maybe they just do better against the big teams. But then again, Mbabane Swallows now you would say if we league at least let me reach the finals in Kwenyama Cup or semi-finals in Kwenyama Cup. So this game I think it will be interesting. But of course, if we're talking right here, right now, Swiso, this is Mbabane Swallows win.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's the easiest one to call. Mangabe just a predictor, Gulama games.
The 2 fixtures I'd call, I'd give Royal Leopard over Zolini United. Zolini, they are coming up okay, but Royal Leopard, they are on form. So
number 2 versus number 10.
Yeah, I'd probably.
Fair enough.
You see what I mean?
Fair enough.
But then the trickiest one is the Ilovo versus Young Buffaloes.
Yeah, because the Parliamentary Premier League.
Yeah, and Sipets versus Monene.
Sure.
That's another one.
Do you see Seabirds giving Monene Pirates a difficult time here?
Yes. Yes. I'm not saying they'll win. Definitely they'll win. I watched them against Mbabane Swallows.
Yeah.
So I remember our conversation the last time when we were talking about that fixture. And I thought you could say it was going to be a difficult fixture. It was.
It was, indeed.
They scored first. I don't know, so what's wrong with the Mantini Sipets. They're an okay team. But they have potentially Babe competing team.
They can always surprise you.
No, I mean, so they have the players. I don't know why they just can't cross that line. They're just doing enough to be just there. Even the last season, even that season, relegation, avoid relegation till the last few games. Monene Pirates, the way they've been playing, you'd expect to see a win. But the thing is, I like Manzini Sipets players. They are almost everyone Lapa is well built. They are structural.
Sure.
They are tall, physical,
athlete,
and still they are technically good. And with the players they have, so they shouldn't be struggling a league. And Kwenyama Cup, I think they'll fancy their chances because I don't think they'll look at Kutsi semi-finals probably in the history of the tournament. So this tournament they'll go all out. But then again, Monene Pirates, I did say influencer coach Caleb in terms of preparing for a games and Jangalena, I think they'll do enough.
Let's look at the MTN Premier League. You know,
so before we look at the MTN Premier League, I know we're all guilty of this. We tend to overlook the ladies' side because these tournaments this time around, the I know, so we were talking with the other journalists the other day. Would say, why are we all concentrating on the men's game? Because there is also these ladies tournaments. So there is a big fixture, Guyu. That's why.
But I can justify, but yeah,
it's okay. You don't have to.
Yeah.
But there is a big fixture, which I mean everyone should be talking about it. The first one.
Sure.
Manzino Wanderers versus Young Buffaloes. Manzino Wanderers, they are top in their league. Young Buffaloes, they are second. And Young Buffaloes, I'm saying the mistake.
Final.
Young Buffaloes.
Before the final.
It's supposed to be a final, so they should have avoided each other, man. But the Buffaloes, Swissbiago shot 24 goals last game. Yeah, one game.
24
goals in one game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the fixture to watch out for. We were with Makawas on our show yesterday, and he did mention Gutsi. They're still working around the program and the dates of the fixture, but they wish to have at least one game opening game for the big day, just for the ladies to play under a big crowd, because final but under a big crowd. So let them get used to it early as possible. But another team, Singizini versus Mbegele, Nekrinmamba versus AS Interladies, Royal Leopard versus Mbawana Swallows. As it turns out, so if whoever wins, the Pagu Wanderers ne Pafal, we are my final.
Interesting.
We don't figure my final is whoever wins. And
Mbawana ladies, Mbawana Swallows and Royal Leopards ladies, they are not the best.
They're not doing well this time around. The only reason we can talk about them is because of the reputation of Lama brothers. Yeah, otherwise they're not doing good this season. Even Royal Leopard, I was shocked. I'm going to say they're not performing that much well. But the team in Singizin is coming up okay. So you do think good see. If they avoid each other, probably we'll see Singers in the final versus Manzino Wanderers ladies or Young Buffaloes, depending who wins that semi-final.
We can move over now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
By the way, it's going to be a great, matchup that we're going to watch with the Wanderers ladies and the Young Buffaloes ladies. But the MTN Premier League is, we'll watch a few games this weekend. Green Mamba still at the top of the log standings, and they are playing Eswatini United, Namuhla Partiza, and 3 Nsambama. Katsakuti Green Mamba I win a game there, but it's never that easy to call who's going to win. But just looking at their reputation, they've done well this season. They've won 10. They've lost only 2. They drew twice. But Royal Leopards is there. What are we expecting?
So this is a big chance for Ikrin Mamba to claim that number 1 spot.
Sure.
Up until the next few games, because they are playing first, which is an advantage for them. Pressure in Ngane. They just going there, but when it came here, but selling number 1. Because this is a chance. Pirates.
It's not an easy game.
No, never. It cannot not be an easy game. So it's going to be a very difficult game. The best results or the worst results probably for them, they'll want at least a point. So it's gonna be difficult.
A draw.
It's gonna be difficult. So a point I can see a draw, and if it's a draw, then Kinmamba will go on and to be on top.
One thing for sure, let me not say for sure, but one thing that is highly possible is that Royal Leopard is not going to lose. They've done a good job of not losing this season. 0.
So far, they haven't lost any game.
That's commendable.
And I always quote him, Master. Normally, when it comes to these things, previously, he has been correct with the teams. I remember he predicted Swallows unbeaten run for 2 seasons. I remember he predicted Young Buffaloes run, undefeated run. They didn't win the league, fun enough, but they were not defeated at any time. And then he said this season, I think it was a game before Green Mamba. What if Green Mamba doesn't beat them? They'll finish the season unbeaten. Are you sure? What's in a whole beat them?
No, I was telling Saboni, so
I couldn't give him an answer, but he said Royal Leopard will not be beaten this season. So the best result, judging from what Master said, because I've grown to trust him, then Royal Leopard will probably, if not a win, they'll get a draw.
Patrice, I'm afraid it's cut good, but I just do want to make this observation here. You saying that Royal Leopards is just looking for, it's going to be a draw against Money Pirates because it's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah.
And Singizini Hotspurs is playing Sisonke and they're on 31 points, meaning that if Singizini wins, as you know, they look to win, the odds are favoring them. They may be ahead of Royal Leopards and be number 2, and that would be a good season so far for Singizini as it has been.
Their coach has just resigned to Swiss.
Ooh.
So they're out for a new coach.
Time has run out, but isikhathi ke sebhola star besisitenge kule mphela sonto sithembe maswati atawuphuma ngebuningi baso bayakuyawubukela so that they can follow our conversations bakhona ku-understanda konke lesikutekako. This has been Parties MCB and this has been our KBS Sports Update. It has also been Kusile Breakfast Show, the Friday edition. Thank you for staying with us. Enjoy the rest of your week and be responsible. Bye-bye.